Hello students, welcome back to the English class with part 2 of chapter Indigo. Previous video of this chapter ended with the lines that sharecropping arrangement was troublesome for the peasants as they have to pay compensation for being released from growing indigo on 15% of their holdings. When the news of synthetic or artificial indigo reached to the farmers, they wanted to get their money back which they had paid to the landlords. So at this point, Gandhiji arrived in Champaran. So let's continue. Let's move to page 49. Here it is, page number 49. This one. Yes, this one. Now at this point, Gandhiji arrived in Champaran. He began by trying to get the facts. First, he visited the secretary of the British Landlords Association. We will underline it. The secretary told him that they could give no information to an outsider. Gandhiji answered that he was no outsider. So according to Gandhiji, these Britishers were the outsiders for India, not Gandhiji. Next, Gandhiji called on the British official commissioner of the Tirhut division in which the Champaran district lay. The commissioner, Gandhiji reports, proceeded to bully me. Bully me means the commissioner frightened Gandhiji and advised him to leave Tirhut. So first he met secretary of the British landlord. Second, he went to meet British official commissioner. And this commissioner frightened Gandhiji and advised him to leave this region, Tirhut. Next one, Gandhiji did not leave. Instead, he proceeded to Motihari, the capital of Champaran. Several lawyers accompanied him. At the railway station, a vast multitude greeted Gandhiji. Group of people greeted Gandhiji at the railway station. He went to a house and using it as headquarters continued his investigations. A report came in that a peasant had been maltreated in a nearby village. Gandhi decided to go and see. The next morning, he started out on the back of an elephant. So Gandhiji went to Motihari. He was received by a large crowd of people and he made a headquarter. He converted a house into a headquarter and started collecting the information from the peasants. Then a news came that one peasant has been maltreated, ill-treated in the nearby village. Gandhiji decided that he will go to see that peasant next morning and he started on the back of an elephant. He had not proceeded far when the police superintendent's messenger overtook him and ordered him to return to town in his carriage. Gandhiji complied. A messenger came, police messenger came and he told that come along with me back to the town. Gandhiji complied. Gandhiji obeyed. The messenger drove Gandhi home where he served him with an official notice to quit Champaran immediately. Now to Gandhiji, the official served a notice. He had given a notice and what was the wording of the notice? Quit Champaran immediately. Gandhiji signed a receipt for the notice and wrote on it that he would disobey the order. Gandhiji signed but written on it that I will not obey your orders. In consequence, Gandhi received a summons to appear in court the next day. As a result, Gandhiji has to appear in the court because he went against their orders, Britishers' orders. All night Gandhi remained awake. He telegraphed Rajendra Prasad to come from Bihar with influential friends He sent instructions to the ashram. He wired a full report to the viceroy. So Gandhiji telegraphed Rajendra Prasad to come along with the powerful, influential friends, means powerful friends, other lawyer friends. And then he sent instructions to the ashram, wired report to the viceroy. He completed his all work. Morning found the town of Motihari black with peasants. In the morning, when Gandhiji has to reach the court, the town was black with peasants, means it was full of peasants. So many peasants came to support Gandhiji. They did not know Gandhi's record in South Africa. They had merely heard that a Mahatma who wanted to help them was in trouble with the authorities. Their spontaneous demonstration. Spontaneous means voluntarily. They came on their own to support Gandhi. Their spontaneous demonstration in thousands around the courthouse was the beginning of their liberation from fear of the British. So the farmers started coming to support Gandhiji on their own in thousands of number, and this was the beginning of their liberation from fear of the British. So this shows that these farmers, peasants, are now no more afraid of the Britishers. They are not scared of them and they are free from the fear. This was the first sign when they started assembling outside the court. The officials felt powerless without Gandhi's cooperation. He helped them regulate the crowd. He was polite and friendly. He was giving them concrete proof that their might, hitherto dreaded and unquestioned, could be challenged by Indians. So all the officials were unable to control the crowd. Gandhiji helped them to regulate the crowd, means to control the crowd. They took the help of Gandhiji. Now Gandhiji was very polite and friendly with them. He politely told the officials that if they would misuse the power, then there were chances that they would have to face the revolt from the Indians. Now he said that their might, it is written, their might hitherto dreaded. Their might means the power of Britishers. Hitherto means earlier, which they used to frighten the farmers, frighten the Indians, now can be challenged by the Indians, because now Indians are no more afraid of them. Coming to the next. The government was baffled. Baffled means confused. The prosecutor requested the judge to postpone the trial. Apparently, the authorities wished to consult their superiors. So the lawyer requested the judge to postpone the trial, postpone the hearing. Apparently means evidently the authorities wished to consult their superiors. Gandhi protested against the delay. He read a statement pleading guilty. Pleading guilty means appealing or requesting that and admitting that he was at fault. He was involved, he told the court, in a conflict of duties. On the one hand, not to set a bad example as a lawbreaker. On the other hand, to render the humanitarian and national service for which he had come. He disregarded the order, disobeyed the order. Now, which order he is talking about? He got the order to leave the Tirhut region, and Gandhiji signed it that I will disobey your order. So he disrespected the order to leave, not for want of respect for lawful authority, but in obedience to the higher law of our being, the voice of conscience. He asked the penalty due. Now Gandhiji said why the case is being delayed. He admitted that he was at fault. He has not obeyed the orders of Britishers. He was at fault. Now he said that he was not a lawbreaker and didn't want to go against the law, as he has his duty towards humanity. Doing something for the human welfare, humi- humanitarian, means doing something for the human welfare is his priority, for which he has come here in Champaran. And then he further added that he has obeyed the voice of his conscience, which is the higher law of our being, voice of the conscience. Now he disrespected their order, he disobeyed the order because he has obeyed the voice of his conscience, his inner soul, and therefore he refused to leave the town. Coming to the next, he asked the penalty due. Gandhiji said, "Whatever the fine you will impose, I am going to pay." The magistrate announced that he would pronounce sentence after a 2-hour recess and asked Gandhi to furnish bail for those 120 minutes. Gandhiji refused. The judge released him without bail. Now, magistrate said, "I will announce the sentence, means punishment, after 2 hours." And he told Gandhiji that he has to pay the bail for those 2 hours. Now, what is the bail? Bail is the amount of money which one has to pay to the court for being released for some time. Now, Gandhiji, if he wants to be out from the jail for 120 minutes, that is 2 hours, so he has to pay the bail. When the and Gandhiji refused that I am not going to pay any amount as a bail, the judge released him without bail. So when the court reconvened means continued, when the court reconvened, the judge said he would not deliver the judgment for several days. Meanwhile, he allowed Gandhi to remain at liberty. So he did not make any judgment and said that Gandhiji is at liberty, he is free. Next, Rajendra Prasad, Brij Kishore Babu, Maulana Mazharul Haq, and several other prominent lawyers, well-known lawyers, had arrived from Bihar. They conferred with Gandhi, talked to Gandhi. What would they do if he was sentenced to prison? Now Gandhiji discussed with them that what would they do if he was sentenced to prison. Gandhi asked the lawyers. Why? The senior lawyer replied. They had come to advise and help him. If he went to jail, there would be nobody to advise and they would go home. Now the lawyers said, all these lawyers whose names are mentioned here, they said, if you will be sentenced to jail, if you will be put behind the prison, then we all will move back to our houses because we have come just to advise you. Then Gandhi said, what about the injustice of the sharecroppers? Gandhi demanded. The lawyers withdrew to consult. So when Gandhiji said, what about the injustice which is going on with the sharecroppers? Then the lawyers withdrew, means they left aside, they went aside to consult something, to do discussions. Rajendra Prasad has recorded the upshot of their consultations. They thought, now Rajendra Prasad who was there, he has recorded the upshot of their consultation. Upshot of their consultation means whatever the discussion went on, he has recorded and told us. Now what they discussed? They thought amongst themselves that Gandhi was totally a stranger and yet he was prepared to go to prison for the sake of the peasants. If they here refers to these lawyers whose names are mentioned there, if they, on the other hand, being not only residents of the adjoining districts but also those who claimed to have served these peasants should go home, it would be shameful desertion. Now, this was the discussion which went on among the lawyers, that if Gandhi is ready to go to the prison, being an outsider of this district, and we who belong to this district, rather adjoining districts, and we claim that we are fighting their cases in the court, and if we will leave the place, that it will be a shameful act for all of us. Now, desertion means the action of leaving that place. That will be shameful if we will leave. They accordingly went back to Gandhi and told him that they were ready to follow him into jail. Now they decided that if Gandhiji will be punished to go to prison, they all are going to follow him into the jail. The battle of Champaran is won, he exclaimed. Now Gandhiji declared on hearing this that we all will accompany you with the jail in the jail. On hearing this, Gandhiji declared that their struggle for Champaran's peasants had been won. So before fighting the battle, Gandhiji declared that they have won. This is the power of togetherness, because now they all are together. Next, then he took a piece of paper. He refers to Gandhiji. Then he took a piece of paper and divided the group into pairs and put down the order in which each pair was to court arrest. Each pair was to court arrest. Court arrest means if one will go to jail, then who will be the next one to go to jail? Several days later, Gandhiji received a written communication from the magistrate informing him that the lieutenant governor of the province means region, lieutenant governor of the province of that region had ordered the case to be dropped. Now the case was dropped on its own. Civil disobedience had triumphed the first time in modern India. Now, civil disobedience. Now, what is civil disobedience? A civilian, Gandhiji was a civilian. A civilian had disobeyed the Britishers' order. And this was a great thing, rather a daring thing at that time. So, and they have won in that case for the first time in the modern India. Gandhi and the lawyers now proceeded to conduct a far-flung inquiry into the grievances of the farmers. Depositions by about 10,000 peasants were written down and notes made on other evidence. Documents were collected. The whole area throbbed with the activity of the investigators and the vehement protests of the landlords. Now Gandhiji and the other lawyers, they started inquiring the peasants, collecting the evidence against the Britishers. Written proofs were collected, and then whole area throbbed, means it was vibrated with the activity of investigators and the vehement means forceful protests of the landlords. So they were making inquiry. Gandhiji and the other lawyers were inquiring the peasants, collecting the proofs, and on the other hand, the British landlords were opposing them. They were creating objections, protesting. Next, in June, Gandhi was summoned to Sir Edward Gate, the lieutenant governor. Gandhiji was summoned to Sir Edward Gate. He was called by Sir Edward Gate, lieutenant governor. Before he went, he met leading associates and again laid detailed plan for civil disobedience if he should not return. Now, before meeting that Edward Gate, Gandhiji, before he went, he met leading advocates. Advocates is, sorry, associates, supporters. He met the supporters and again laid a detailed plan for civil disobedience if he should not return. So, if, because he was going to meet that lieutenant governor, and he thought that they are going to put him behind the jail through some trick. So he's made a plan that if this will happen, if he will not return, what will be the next plan? How they will have to again disobey the Britishers. Gandhi had 4 protracted interviews with the lieutenant governor, who, as a result, appointed an official commission of inquiry into the indigo sharecroppers situation. Now, Gandhiji had 4 long time, the interviews that take long time, that is called protracted interviews with the lieutenant governor, and he appointed a commission of inquiry into the indigo sharecropper situation, because now the lieutenant wanted to solve their problem, for which Gandhiji visited Champaran. So an inquiry was settled down, it was appointed. The commission consisted of, now who were the members in that commission? The commission consisted of landlords, government officials, and Gandhi as the sole representative of the peasants. So British landlords were there in that commission, in inquiry commission, British landlords, government officials, and from peasant side only Gandhiji was there as a representative. Gandhi remained in Champaran for an initial uninterrupted period of 7 months, and then again for several shorter visits. The visit, undertaken casually on the entreaty of an unlettered peasant, unlettered means uneducated peasant, and entreaty means humble request. So Gandhiji the visit undertaken casually on the entreaty of an unlettered peasant in the expectation that it would last a few days, occupied almost a year of Gandhi's life. Now Gandhiji remained in Champaran for 7 months, continuously for 7 months, and after that for shorter visits. Now actually Gandhi visited Champaran on an humble request of an uneducated peasant. His name was Rajkumar Shukla. So on his request, he came to Champaran to solve their problem, with this expectation that the problem will take hardly few days. But it occupied almost a year of Gandhi's life. Next, the official inquiry assembled a crushing mountain of evidence against the big planters, and when they saw this, they agreed in principle to make refunds to the peasants. But how much must we pay? They asked Gandhi. Now the inquiry gathered there, and after long discussion, they decided that okay, Britishers were at fault and they have to return the money. But how much money they will have to return to the peasants? They asked Gandhi. They thought, now here they means the members of the inquiry commission. They thought he would demand repayment in full of the money which they had illegally and deceitfully extorted from the sharecroppers. Now, illegally and deceitfully extorted. Extorted means forcefully taken from the sharecroppers by cheating them. So they thought that Gandhiji will demand that you have to return the full money to the peasants. But he asked only 50%. There he seemed adamant. Now on 50% Gandhiji was firm that he will not accept less than 50% amount. Writes Reverend J. Z. Hodge, a British missionary in Champaran who observed the entire episode at close range. Now, this person, Reverend J. Z. Hodge, he was the eyewitness of that complete incident. Thinking probably that he would not give way, the representative of the planters offered to refund to the extent of 25%. And to his amazement, Mr. Gandhi took him at his word, thus breaking the deadlock. Now, Gandhiji asked for 50% and he was firm, adamant there. And now the members, they decided that they will return only 25% money. 25% amount. They thought that Gandhiji will not accept it. He will reject this amount, 25% amount. But to their surprise, amazement means surprise, Gandhiji took him at his word. He accepted the amount, 25%. It is okay. They can return to the peasants 25% amount, thus breaking the deadlock. Now, breaking the deadlock. Just imagine deadlock. You all might have seen the lock. Now, if a lock is not working, it is like a dead. So, for opening that lock, you need a key. So the issue which was impossible to solve, that is getting the compensation amount back from the British landlords, which was next to impossible thing, but was made possible because of Gandhiji. So thus breaking the deadlock. So Gandhiji accepted 25% and broke the deadlock and solved the impossible situation. And the case was over. This okay. Now for today this much is enough. Remaining part of the chapter we will cover in part 3. Thank you.